You have tried dieting several times in the past, but here is why you can't get lean.
Or your diets continue to fail.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Strong, Mr. Tickle. I'm Mark.
Mr. Tickle, Mr. Strong, Emmet.
And in this episode, we're going to break down basically the rigmarole that is dieting and why you can't seem to get lean.
Yeah, and I suppose one mistake that a lot of people make is they don't give themselves a clear start and end date. And you know, it's very important to have a start date and set yourself that end date so you create urgency.
That's it. That's the episode.
Game over.
No, usually what tends to happen, I've seen it time and time again. Many of the clients that have come to me in the end and they have successfully dieted, and we've been through this. Usually when you are trying to get lean, you start off full of enthusiasm.
Monday.
And it always has to be on a Monday.
Can't start Thursday or Friday.
No, today's a Friday. I can't start my diet.
Definitely
Give me
not.
another 3 days of acting the Mickey.
To reset. We can reset Monday.
Pretty much. But yeah, you're starting off full of enthusiasm. You have your plans. You're ready to go, ready to rock. And first couple of weeks are a bit of a doddle when it comes to your diet. You do see those quick wins and everything seems to be going rosy. But because you don't have that clear start and end date, like you mentioned at the start, things get a little bit tricky in between the grey zone. We'll get to that in a moment. Because weeks 1 to 3, as we said, is typically fairly straightforward. You're seeing those quick wins.
Should be. You should be seeing progress in the first couple of weeks.
You should do. Absolutely. Weeks 6 to 8, that's the magic zone. That's where the magic happens. That's where you start to see your abs coming out.
The visual changes really start to happen.
You start to see the progress. You start to see significant drops on the scale from that stage. And that's where things become really exciting because you are seeing those changes now. But it's usually what happens in between the start and those
kind of weeks 4 to 6.
Weeks 4 to 6, that is what I like to call, and like what we like to describe to our clients as the grey zone. That's where the novelty wears. The excitement that you're starting a diet is well and truly gone. You're past that stage. You're seeing a couple of drops on the scale here or there, but to be honest, you're not seeing those visual improvements yet. And that's the important point.
Yeah, and that's when you need to push through and keep going. And as you said there, like, you know, the first couple of weeks, you're all highly motivated, you're buzzing, it's all new, it's all fresh. And to be blunt about it again, anyone can make progress for the first couple of weeks. And then it's just about sticking at it when that motivation fizzles out and the drive to get into the gym fizzles out and the drive to prep your meals fizzles out. And if you keep persistent with it and you stay consistent, even in that grey zone, that's when the magic happens in weeks 6, 7, 8 and so on. But if you fucking pack it in after week 4 or 5 because it's getting a little bit hard, then you're just going to continue to rinse and repeat that cycle of start, fail, start, fail.
Yeah, so maybe this resonates with you. It should do anyways. Starting off that diet full of enthusiasm, I bet you anything you're probably going to think about when Monday comes around. You're going to skip breakfast. You're going to skip breakfast this week. You'll push out your first meal of the day. Everything is rosy. As you said, the enthusiasm, the excitement is there, the novelty. It's a new diet now. It's September. Kids are back to school, in good routine, once again back to work. And that's all you're living off. That motivation and skipping breakfast. That's your fuel. What happens when that burns out? Because motivation, as we both know, comes and goes. It shouldn't be a fuel that we're depending on to drive us forward.
And we want to rely on discipline rather than motivation, because motivation is very, very fickle. And, you know, discipline is what kicks in when motivation goes out the window. And that's, you know, where we show up and we be consistent on the days that we don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So bringing it back to that grey zone, because that is where people either they run out of their energy, run out of fuel, and back at week 1 again, wait until the following Monday, and you're 4 weeks down the road, and you're back to square one basically. During that grey zone, during those weeks, say 4 to 6, 4 to 7, where you're not seeing those visual improvements, what have you found to help get them through it? Because
set little mini targets is something that I would always do. And, you know, like that, the first couple of weeks, you're probably going to see good, significant drops on the scales. And then those drops start to slow down a little bit and you might feel like you're failing, but you're actually not. You know, and you need to persist in that area and give yourself mini targets. So if we look at like percentages and we say, okay, well, let's aim to drop 0.5 to 1% of your body weight this week. And, we need to focus on habits as well. That's going to cause that to happen. And that's something that I'm always preaching about, even in that little grey area where we may not be seeing massive visual changes or massive changes on the scales. Well, we're building habits here. You're going to the gym now 3 to 4 times per week. You're eating good quality meals. You're prioritizing your protein. You're prioritizing fiber. You're prioritizing your sleep, your hydration. All of these habits are things that we need to continue to build. And if you keep doing those consistently, then you're going to see them visual changes and you're going to get those small drops, and that eventually leads to the big result.
Yeah, and that's why rather building those habits, those good habits, will help you in the long run, well past the 8-week diet, well past the 8-month phase, let's say, of your fitness journey, if you want to call it that. Because building those habits, there are things that you're not going to just forget overnight. Rather than going into a diet on a whim, excitement's high, yes, skipping breakfast, but you don't really know why you're losing the weight. Whereas that's why I find another thing that's so helpful during that grey zone is having some support network.
Absolutely, yeah.
I myself, you too, we both
have coaches.
We both have coaches, and we have them for a reason. We're not just wasting our money away. I don't want to spend money just for the sake of it. No. They're there for a solid reason, because we go through those phases as well, especially when we were dieting for our photo shoot prep, say.
Things get hard for us too.
Yeah. Like there was times there where I was seeing a couple of drops on the scales, but I wasn't really seeing visual improvements, and I was questioning, maybe I should be doing more. Maybe I should be pushing on my first meal past lunchtime now.
Yeah.
Whereas my coach was able to say, look, everything is fine. You're just in that in-between phase. The magic will happen. All you need to do is just stay consistent, stay chipping away for the next couple of weeks, and lo and behold, the abs, they do arrive.
And that's the joys of having the support system as well, and that guidance and that accountability. And it can be the flip side there. Like you mentioned, you were going to push on and do a little bit more. And that's something we would often see. We start off with people maybe training 3 to 4 times per week, and they're like, should I not be training 5, 6, 7 times per week? No, let's start off with the basics and let's build from there. We've got lots of tools in the toolkit. We can use them whenever we need them. But it also goes both ways. Sometimes you need that little pull back. You need to be told, oh, we're doing enough here and the progress will happen. And then the other times you need that kick up in the arse and to be told, well, you're not fucking doing enough here. You need to be doing more and you need to be doing it consistently.
Yep. And that's where the kind of urgency kicks in for people, especially when they do get to that grey zone and they don't see those visual improvements. Then you see them out running on the roads, see them joining the S&C classes, the bougie Pilates sessions just to try and burn more calories, running
with bin bags on and loads of hoodies.
Yeah. Or join a High Rocks gym.
Yeah. Don't mention that word.
Yeah. But that's what people end up doing. They get desperate. But us as coaches, it's our job to think logically, not emotionally during these phases, and just say, look, we've been through this exact scenario. We know exactly what's happening here. You just need to stay chipping away with those good habits, stay consistent, and you will definitely get to that magic phase with the 6 to 8 week mark. Maybe it's a little bit longer for certain people, depending on how much body fat you start off with. But there is a hell of a lot you can get done in 8 weeks.
A hell of a lot you can get done in 8 weeks. And just using your client that we were speaking about earlier as an example, who's 10 weeks in and 10 kilos down. Like that's pushing towards the 2 stone mark in 10 weeks.
Yep.
That's a massive amount of fat lost. That's huge visual changes you're going to see from that. You know, subtract 2 weeks from that, he was probably down about 8 kilos in 8 weeks.
Yeah, it was about that.
There you go.
Yeah. But the most important point on that was he was able to get through that grey zone because we had that clear start and end date. Yep. He's going into a diet break now, and we'll reassess from there if he has more body fat to lose. And that could be the very same for you. But that is the joys of what we're launching, is our Emmet group coaching. And that's the exact thing that you will probably need after watching this video, is that clear start and end date.
Yeah, and we provide the blueprint and all of the things that we just mentioned there, like that accountability, that support, that guidance, that community aspect as well, which is very helpful when you're struggling and you see other people who might be struggling and you can push each other on as well as us pushing you on. So yeah, a very important part of it is having that support and the accountability and the community side of things.
Yeah, for sure. And if you do want any more information on our Emmet group coaching, link is in the description below. If you want to get a space on that for the next intake, that's also there as well. So make sure to check that out. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Make sure to like, share and subscribe. And we shall catch you in the next one.
Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.